welcome to another Ace Attorney stream. Today we are continuing episode 5, Rise from the Ashes. We've done the first investigation and the first trial. Now we're on day 2 with another investigation. Mr. Wright, so what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see, what's going on? The victim, Detective Bryce Goodman, was stabbed to death at 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're going to find out, or try to at least. Alright, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, and I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go, science awaits us. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. That oil drum. Was it empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence at a crime scene? Never. Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do and I trust her. Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it away all away. Hehehe. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that's it is luminol testing fluid. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know? You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor, I can't even drink yet. We're testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. There, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of those things? To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find some bloodstains. Okay. It's probably over here. I can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a bloodstain? Huh? It's so, Emma, you're shaking. It's just, this is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Uh, okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd, scientifically speaking, of course? What's odd about this scientifically? The amount of blood. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood? I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, they'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find the bloodstain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Luminal testing fluid added. Received from one very proud looking MS guy. Solution used for scientific investigation. Finds blood traces spray to use. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Then let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah. It feels like we're really investigating crime now, doesn't it? Guess I should give this spray. Wait. Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ha. I wonder how that flute of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Star, you only trust your own eyes, hmm? Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Star, but no, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. What? I witnessed everything from the security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Ah, I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, I was. It was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go? Or fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case, the SL9 incident. SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean. You mean where this knife came from? Oh, whoops. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on the knife. And on that note, Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case, the murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As a suspect, SL9 isn't over, not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Um, what, do I give her this now? What do you think about this? The SL9 incident is okay. If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room, but even I get flustered sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime? I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. And then when I look. Wait, that's when I took this photo, yes? In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl, I've had my testimony disregarded before, and I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time? Ah, there we go. That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're going. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable to who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never did find decisive evidence, not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those. Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Exactly, Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then it was over, and he was demoted. However, he wasn't forgotten, and neither have I. He hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9. There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell. There is only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that I can help, that can help me investigate. Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, rookie, what? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes? Then you should take this. A Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Miss Star, Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his, are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall, Um, go to detention center. Looks like Miss Guy is in questioning. I hope the detectives aren't yelling at her. How did you kill him in two places at the same time? Can you imagine? How is she supposed to answer that? Wait a second. Didn't Mr. Gant say they'd arrested a suspect in the police department murder? Let's come back later. Wow, everyone looks deadly serious here. Well, there was a vicious murder of a detective down at the police department. Yes, but the same detective was also killed at the same time in the prosecutor's lot. Uh, it makes my head hurt. Well, first things first. Let's go check out the police department crime scene. Yes, you sound dead set on investigating. But don't mess up, or we could wind up dead. I doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around here right now. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to help us much either. Hmm. Oh, it's like checking what this guy's doing. That must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. I know, the killer used dry ice. If you put it between the latch and the door, the room could be sealed shut. This is good. I'll win a writer's award for good, for sure. He's not writing a report, he's writing a novel. Yeah, that's a weird one. That must be the chief of detectives. He's glued to his computer screen. What? Detective killed in the evidence room? Tell no one outside the police department. No, I told that old lady at the restaurant everything. Someone's getting a demotion. So, this is the police mascot, is it? The Blue Badger, the future star of the police force. The design's a wait, the design's a little changed from the one outside. Ah, well, the Dancing Blue Badger trademark is still under development, you see. You have it trademarked? Absolutely, it's cutting edge stuff. Very now. I showed this old doll here to my daughter and she burst into tears. Don't show her the moving mock up outside then, you'll give her nightmares. Okay. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all. So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk. Here it is. She's like a kid at an amusement park. Oh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. Oh, I guess this is Marshall's setup. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room, the scene of the crime. It sure seems that way. Oh, what's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing, it's hard to think straight. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is if this is the guard station, where's the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Yeah, I have a feeling as well. Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's about more attitude thing than a physical similarity. Okay. There's a security guard uniform hanging here. It looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly. A leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy? A paunchy? A pinchy? Oh, I know. A poochie. Wait, maybe that wasn't it. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. It looks like these are a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. I bet we could use this computer to check who went in and out of here. Well, then let's check it. Or maybe not. I don't know. Look on the floor. A lasso. Looks like it's set up to trap something. A trap here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. But the lasso missed. You sure have an active imagination. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. Yeah, I think so too. This swing door makes the place look like some kind of saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. You can't get in that way. Of course not. If you went in through there, the cactus would fall over. Ouch. I'd say it'd be more of a yar myself. Okay. I don't think there's anything else here. Guess I'll move for now. This place is charged with frantic energy as always. Please! Huh? Wasn't that... One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We've caught our criminal, now we just need evidence. The criminal? You mean You heard about the stabbing at the police department evidence room, right, pal? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested them, in fact. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everyone's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't gonna fill my belly. Wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figured he's down to have a good cry. Later. He ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to running start. Can I go back to the evidence room? No. Okay. There we go. Still, I do feel better about things a little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. Huh? What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? I'd say I was perpetrated against her. That's what I'd say. Meekins? Hi, greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins. So you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report. No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't, is he? You, Officer Meekins, you didn't, did you? Er, Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. What? What? Now, this is an unexpected turn of events. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir! Ow, I can hear you just fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So, normally there's a guard at the evidence room. That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person? Yeah? What the heck is this guy doing? So, what happened then? After then, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blacked out. And then I came to. I was here in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A badge on his hand, just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. After your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, I, don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there's nothing I could do. Nothing you could do. Sir, to tell you the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. The next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were, huh? Then, when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir, all alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. Wait, or what? Then, when I looked down, I saw gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock, oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared? Hmm, that's some story. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Bryce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that. Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Do you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as stranger or total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So, you didn't know him? Sir, I worked in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives. So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir, none. Nor do I have the recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Let's see. I want to question him on the knife. Officer Meekins, this is for you. Eek! I'm scared of knives, sir. It's okay. I just wanted you to take a look at that. That's it, sir. Last night, sir. That's the one. It was an apple, sir. In my dream, sir, and I was being peeled. On second thought, you don't have to look at the knife. He's overreacting to the knife. I guess he's been through a lot. Um, let's see. Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir. Really, sir. Sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should ask Mr. Edgeworth, sir. He's passing the buck, Mr. Wright. It takes a special kind of man to pass the buck to Edgeworth. Mm, I don't think there's anything else that... Well, maybe this? Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? Okay, no. That might be all I can get from him for now. Yeah. Okay. I think I want to go back to the evidence room. Maybe. Okay. Not there. Let's go to the parking lot. We haven't gone to Edgeworth's office yet. Well, this place is as classy today as it was yesterday. And I'm sure it'll still be as classy tomorrow, Emma. Incidentally, Edgeworth's not here. I'm sure he's off doing important investigations. I hope that's what he's doing. I guess we'll have to come back. Oh, come on. Where am I supposed to go? this is all stuff we've kind of done before. Already kind of talked to that guy. Did I miss something, maybe? Maybe this? No. This? Take a look at this. Hey, that's it, sir. That's it. That's it. That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But, sir, now I remember. I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct. That card was the cause of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing. I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. Can you tell me what it is you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I don't know, Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and I asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So, you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. That doesn't sound right. What? Sir, I assure you, I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him? Do unto to others before you do unto you. My own father's words, sir. What happened? Well, my eyes. Sir, everything went white, then I awoken. I was here. Right. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know now. What we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim who he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room. We don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? They told me that I had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it. No, thanks. I have my own. Well, guess we'd better go check out the crime scene. Okay. Now we go to the... Oh, wait. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the chief detective's desk. It's Police Chief Gaunt. And you're sure this is all? You know what it means if there is anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you can call me right away. Deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. The chief of detectives looks a little flustered. Aha, righto, my boy. How have you been? Swim much? Oh ho, Chief Gaunt reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Is Edgeworth gonna be okay? Oh, worthy. Oh, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yeah, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boys since last year. You mean the incident on Gord Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got something else found guilty in that case, right, righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. And in court you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry meeting decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? It's downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean? They're being the prosecutors, I assume. Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, and that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is there? Now, righto. I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. One thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff, secrets. I can't stand them. But it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives trap shut. He was the one you were picking on earlier. Huh? You saw that? Whoops! I guess that was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. Oh. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Okay. Maybe this? I was wondering if you could look at the... sorry, Righto. I'm through with that stuff. Through, I say. Go find that guy who can't seem to sit still out there, the busy one. The guy who can't sit still? Does he mean Detective Gumshoe? Either him or the Dancing Blue Badger. I was wondering, could you take a look at this? Oh, sorry. Okay. No. Not even gonna tell me about the trophy? Okay, what about SL9? No. Okay, he's just not telling me anything. Uh, what about telling me about the Blue Badger? No. Autopsy report? No. Um... This? No. Oh, whoops. What about this? Oh, whoops. E not enter. doesn't seem like I can really ask him anything. Well, let's go to the guard station. Well, that doesn't seem to do anything. Uh, has to be something. Just keep trying everything. No, just doesn't seem to be anything. Oh, whoops. Show you my attorney's badge? Nope. It really seems like I can't get any more out of him. No. Still not back. Blue Badger is still writhing around today. Let's give him the benefit for the doubt and say he's dancing. Speaking of dancing, the whole police department has been dancing around like crazy since yesterday. Can I take out his batteries? I just can't help but feel he's going to do something naughty. He's probably fine. Let's see. There has to be something to do with the guy. I just don't know what it is. Talk to this guy, maybe? Oh, sorry, I had to see that. What exactly did the police chief want you to do? Oh, there we go. Well, you see over there, that's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So, nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Well, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. A lost item report? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21st. Better make a note of that just in case. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Me. 5, 9. present that to you? Nope. Of course not. Okay, can I... Does it make sense to move now? Apparently not. Let's examine more stuff. A poster of a female police officer. Wait, no, that's the latest Babes in Uniform calendar, my bad. These are the detectives' desks. There are computers and files in each one. Funny, they're a lot tidier than I'd expect. I guess the detectives don't spend a lot of time at their desks. Guess not. That must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. I know, the killer used the cassette tape. What a crafty trick. That gunshot was fake. This is good. No one will expect the cassette tape in this day and age. He's not writing a report, he's writing a novel. Oh, I can... Okay. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Rido asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Rido, why do you do such long pauses all the time, Gant? Actually, I'm sorry. Don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please do. I look like a selfish man. Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50 no problem. So go ahead, investigate that rooms to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. It just goes to show you never know until you ask. And for you, here, you can borrow this. Huh? Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir. It's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Think, just think, a real idea. You seem happy. Yes, sir, because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Yeah, she's starting to sound like Officer Meekins. The evidence room is beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha, the card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, well. What's made my Bambina's skies so gray? Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What? What's that? Why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. Um, we're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest? That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what are you standing around there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the car reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. Huh? You're you're busy then? Did I say that? I'm only said that I didn't wish to speak to you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina, but I'm off to roam the lands like a tumbleweed on the wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading his six-shooter, I say a little prayer. Groker. What was that all about, Mr. Wright? I think he was just too hungry to talk. You're just saying that because his stomach was growling. You had no idea what he was talking about either. Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. Oh, I can give him the lunch. That smell, reminds me of Texas. So Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby? Yeah, Miss Star. What's this? What's wrong? A fillet steak lunch? I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to our Officer Marshall. All right, Bambina, you win. Ask Munch anything, Munch snack. Anything. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Okay, start talking then, buddy. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got an old, you got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, but I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy. I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at the station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know. So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know. I know what maybe two of the machines in here do. Only two of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these security cameras. Those are the ones Officer Meekins mentioned. If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard, and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Thus the card reader by the door. The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. Hmm. So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on the record just now. I've seen that number before. Maybe there's some way I can prove the record is tied to the stabbing. Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in the prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, and no one tells us what exactly happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago, the day of our case. That's right, the evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about? We keep only evidence from the solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out they were a mistake, see? So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what they call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever, dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to SL9 2 days ago? Right. Can just show him this. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. The number on this, 5842189. Officer Marshall, show us the ID card record again. There it is. At 5:14 p.m. Look, the fourth number, it's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and I asked the man to display his ID card. So you asked the Detective Goodman to show his ID card? What did he do? That's the thing, suddenly he pointed a knife at me. But he would have had his ID card. If he had his ID card, then why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? I have no idea. Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I could give you this ID card record. Thank you. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Okay, what's your idea? About the only thing they trust was their shooting hand. This is neither wild nor west here. Aha, but that and this are two different things entirely. I guess so, huh? I'm a little lost. Looks like we need some evidence to get anywhere with this guy. Okay. We're done talking to him. I wanna go... Okay, we'll just go to the evidence room. We'll go back to Officer Meekins after and get his ID number. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels like more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Eek! Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true, what I heard? Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, Sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So, Chief of Police Gaunt, will loan anyone $50? Even me? Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day? But guess what? I got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. Evidence room floor plans added to the court record. Thanks, Gumshoe. So, Detective Gumshoe, you're boss for the day? That's right, it's an honor. Right after the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Haha, of course, I'm a detective after all. They gave me a locker that can only I can open, pal. Only you can open. I'll always believe in Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now. They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed, so only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint. Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. They're strict to the handles, see? The handles? On the one side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, bazap, you get a shock. But that's what happened. My hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks. Only the assigned detective sprints can unlock the indicator lamp lights up when it's open. Okay. Tell me more about SL9? Detective Goodman... No, and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the SL9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Interesting. Now, that was a bloody, violent case. Violent? So it was a murder? A serial killing. A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight, and started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence? That was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh. What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So So that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Sounds like it so far. I'm not completely believing on that yet. Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. That looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught is some sort of escape artist and he got away. Hey, that's one of those human profiles for range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better him than us. There's something sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. I guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal, making me out to be some sort of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was opened recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like the Detective Gumshoe leaves the evidence hanging out a lot too. I bet he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. If you're going to talk behind somebody's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. This place is stuffed with evidence, with dreams. I'm not so sure about the dreams. It won't open. Did you really think it would? Hey pal, our security is high tech around here. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What a sorry looking fishing pole that is. That's my personal pole. I never did get around to using it. Oh, it's the one from the DL6 case that we used. Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. Oh, and the metal detector. Right, pal, that's the metal detector. The one that led to solving the case out on Gord Lake, remember? Oh, right, wow, it feels like ages ago. And, I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure it'll come in handy solving some case sooner or later. That cheap looking box? You can't judge a person or a machine by their cover. You gotta look at their heart. Okay. Slide over. Ooh, a bloody handprint. What's this? Blood? It's a little worn, but there's definitely a fingerprint here. It looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright, what if there are other bloodstains left in this room? We should use their testing fluid to check it out. Yeah, I think so. Oh, whoops. Tab. Spray. Okay, not lit up. Ooh, there we go. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch the spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where did you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I better jot this down for the floor plans. Eh. Okay. Ooh, more blood. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, Detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien? That This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Well, the only reason it's blue is because we sprayed it, and I'm wearing glasses. Actually, that's a good point. Why can you see it? Okay. Let's see if there are any more. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? There you go again, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? The SL9 incident. Pal, see the sticker on one of the pieces there? Another piece from SL9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together? Ha, good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Okay. This one? No. Like kind of jagged edge. This one? Or is it just the... No. Oh, rotate? Ah. Well, that makes things harder. That one fits. Oh, this one. Okay. Rotate. No, doesn't look like that would fit. Oh, that looks like it'll fit. Nice. Nope. I need to rotate it. There we go. Little nubs. This one. And this one. There we go. No, this one. And then this one? No, rotate. There we go. We're still missing a piece, though. A big piece. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kinda understand how it got broken. Unstable jar. Jar pieced back together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Interesting. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe? There you go again, pal, making me out out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. Why is Phoenix being so mean to Gumshoe right now? That's evidence from the case, you know? You mean SL9? It does have a tag on it. Rubber glove added to the court record. Okay. Look at the locker. Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodsman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'll be hard to get it open again if we close it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. Now, why is the indicator red? It feels like it should start as red and then go to green, but oh well. What is a saw and paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true artist has always been a war against oppression. True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio. Here, in the evidence room? Huh. Interesting. If you put these pieces together, it makes a jar. There are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem like a little unstable? No wonder it broke. I'll make sure to remember the next time I make a jar. Is that it? Okay. Oh, I should show him that. Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. Ah, I heard rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here. Whoa! What is it? That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? Huh, that's surprising. Why would Edgeworth have to come to the evidence room? Got the blood splatters. You can't open the lockers if your fingerprint doesn't match. If you can open it, they'll give you 50 cents. No, the police department lacks faith in its lock system. After all, Detective Goodman was stabbed here after opening his locker. But at the same time, he was found dead at the prosecutor's office. Allow me to say one thing speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing, nothing. That's fine. You bet it's fine, pal. Okay. Okay, you don't know anything else, it seems. Let's go back to Officer Meekins. There we go. Needed to look at this. Officer Meekins, can you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir, really sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should try asking Mr. Edger, sir. He's passing the buck, Mr. Wright. Huh? Okay, I really thought you would know something. you know about this pot? Nope. Or the vase. Hey, look! They're hard to make out, but there are some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Do you think Detective Goodman blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This jar was evidence in the SL9 incident, so it's probably 2-year-old blood. That might be when the blood got on it. Alright. Know anything about this? No. Okay. Officer Meekins knows nothing else. We should go see if Edgeworth is back. Still isn't back, huh? A work desk. It's quite tidy, as one might expect. What a nice desk, easy on the eyes and easy... Oh. It's polished so high I can see my own reflection. Okay, I think we're just gonna get the same things we did when we examined this before. I don't know if this'll help. Yes? You said you wanted some hot tea, right? No, but thanks. She didn't even look at it. You must have to brew the leaves a long time to get this rich flavor like this. We pre-infuse the leaves with steam before brewing. I knew it, so that's the secret to aroma. The only thing I'm smelling here is wasted time. No. Do you know anything here? I thought you would know something. No. You're not gonna tell me anything. Okay. Move. Criminal defense. Nothing there. Let's fix that. There we go. Ah. Here. Do you know anything? The sheriff's back in the Wild West didn't place much faith in evidence. About the only thing they trusted was their shooting hand. This is neither wild nor west here. Aha, but that and this are two entirely different things. I guess so, huh? I'm lost. Looks like we need some evidence to get anywhere with this guy. Sheriff's okay, no. Tag says SL911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. Huh? What's so confusing about that? Strangely enough, my first word was tag. Do you know how many other words sound like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, zag. Zag? Is that even a word? Do you challenge me? What are you playing a word game now? Did I examine this? That doesn't really do anything. That. No. I don't know what else could be around here. Maybe you can spray some more of this stuff around. Doesn't seem like there's anything else. And I kinda examined everything. What am I supposed to do now? I don't know. What am I missing here? Present? That's the victim Detective Goodman's ID card. These days everything's cards and secret numbers. I can never relax. That's only because you always lose your card. I always forget my secret number too. Scary, huh? My face should be ID enough. What's the world coming to? Detective Gumshoe rebel against the system. Um. Hmm. Nope. I feel like that's where I need to go next. I just having trouble unlocking it. I already examined that. Examine the empty locker. Rubber gloves, shards on the floor. Did the puzzle. There's did the did all that stuff. Hmm. I don't get it. I swear we've done everything in here. It's still not letting me continue. Did this not register, maybe? Because I already did this. Hmm. Feel like we need... Really? Fine, let's just examine stuff then. Speech contests, essays, playing the flute, golf tournament. That doesn't exactly sound like typical elementary school stuff, but he always hated receiving awards. He'd make some smart remark like, I know the path I've walked, no one else needs to tell me. That's how he's always been. Kinda gets under your skin, doesn't it? Mr. Edgeworth has such a comfy sofa. Sofas like this make me want to curl up and take a nap. I bet he pores over his case files here until the wee hours in the morning. Then he takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves, and goes to sleep using his arms as pillow. I don't believe it. She's actually daydreaming about Edgeworth working. I bet in the morning he has sofa hair and little creases in his cheek from the seams. He's so cool. Sofa hair is cool. Wow, this jacket is even lacier than the usual ones. This must be his lucky trial jacket. Lucky jacket, right. I've never seen him wear it. I'm sure there's a story behind why it's in the frame. Maybe I'll be naughty and take a picture. She's getting way too excited about this. I don't know. Everything's very much same here. Jeez. Hmm. Doo-doo. Oh, I think I'm maybe. Just thinking, I think there might have been another option with the shards on the floor, maybe? Hmm. I don't know. Huh? This thing doesn't have a bottom. That's weird. I wonder its side is up. Better yet. What's the purpose of a bottomless jar? At least it doesn't collect dust inside, right? Was that the missing thing I was? I don't think there's anything... Oh. Okay, no. Okay. That seems fine. Yeah. Maybe that was the missing piece? Oh, whoops. No. What am I missing? Feels like I've done everything. Hmm. Box day. I think I already presented his note. Already examined that. Already examined that. Already examined that. Examined that. Did the shards. Oh, it just wasn't. Come on. I sprayed that I don't know how many times. I knew it. This has to be someone's right hand. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You have to help me. When they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to go give them my report for the day. It might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of the flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Now we're getting somewhere again. Ah, guests, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long? Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry. I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe is looking for you. Ah, yes. He bought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. So, how did the inquiry meeting go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time, again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the prosecuting attorney. However, something happened? They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed to the chief of police Gant. I can't do anything but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you, why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Let's ask him about the ID card record. Oh right, I'd better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why? Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. The chief of police? He wanted evidence for the case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me that he wanted to keep it here in the prosecuting office. But it was solved, right? It would have been if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, one of the on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Wow, I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it. Unrelated evidence, screwdriver added to the court record. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth, brought back to his office by Gant's request. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. Do you know anything about the jar? Right, please, I'm prosecute. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Can I show him the... Okay, I can't even show him the evidence he just gave me. Okay, then. What about this? just something that's related there. I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, alright? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident, and some dark suspicion you were trapped up in. You are you are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago, too, then? He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murder. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminal testing fluid? Very well. You might you might have use for this. Aluminum power for taking fingerprints? It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me, are you sure? Why are we are the enemy, you know? I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. And we go back to the evidence room. Oh, she's gone. He's also gone. Okay. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Well, let's do the thumb. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkled the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With enter, see? Ah, it looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do we do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, that looks like fun. It might take some getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basic of fingerprintings, Mr. Wright. I guess I'd better give it a try. Do so much powder and blow it away. Ah, you did it. You found one. But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does that mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations, but it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Look at the locker door again closely. Seems there are other fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. There's one here. There we go. I guess it's not enough dust yet. Lay it on really thick. There we go. Yeah, print so clear it's dazzling. Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So, we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no print in finding a fingerprint. And not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprint are different places, right? That means the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So, whose fingerprint would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Probably Gumshoe? Yeah. It is his locker. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for your... Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it. Let's check it out. Okay. So have to use this. Um. Wait. Okay. I guess. Guess we just do this. Oh. Oh, I think I know. Do that. Isn't this or is it not talking about that? Detective Goodman's evidence locker. It's empty. Only Detective Goodman himself can open this locker. So the person who took out this knife had to be Detective Goodman. But why was it wrapped in the scarf muffler And stuck inside the car muffler. Who knows? Okay, there we go. This is where we got a luminal fluid reaction, right? Right, there has to be a fingerprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try finding prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody handprint. Okay. Do this one? No. Huh? What do you mean? What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical reactions. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of her hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than one. So how do we do it? Because I feel like thumbprint reader would have been good. I don't know what it's talking about because I'm not seeing anything. Fourth finger. Oh, there we go. Gotta keep covering it. Keep covering it. Do, 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 do. There we go. There you go. Alright. Who is... Oh, here we go. Jake Marshall? Hey, these fingerprints, they... Whose are they? Whose? Is it somehow... It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Found on a bloody handprint left in the evidence room. The print had been wiped. That's gotta be coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma. This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's print. The luminal reaction, the blood, and the fingerprints are all the same. Oh, so we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white bloodstain? But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Okay, day 3. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects, the police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you. Much to my regret. I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. Hmm. We found trace evidence of a certain per person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, we're gonna have to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Guy? Do what you have to, Mr. Wright. Alrighty. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... Hmm. Hmm? I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bryce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness to the You may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness and prosecution calls. The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Meekins! Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. Am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murder, sir. Er, so you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, what I would like, what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help him, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir? Give us your report on the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault them for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Hmm. So the victim detective Goodman attacked you. Do unto to others before they unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see, then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need to hear is more info to work with. Time to press him a whole bunch. Although it is not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinary performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir, it's 5989596. That's my number, sir. I see, huh? But the number is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. The second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see, so it was during that second time one. Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Oh, whoops. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir, a knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with that charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You weren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be. Then I saw the blood trickling down my arm and panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming and maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See, he must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of blood, and then the next thing I knew, yes? He punched me right in my face, sir. After that, I passed out until finally, officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up carrying tears of pain. That's nice, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, can we all rest easy now? I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Um, yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. And Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Do 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 the supposed Detective Goodman. The stupid flag's blocking his face. And then, now the door's blocking his face. Oh, there's Meekins. Oh, and there's the knife. Dang it, the flag keeps blocking his face. We can't tell if it's Goodman or not. And then he's just gone. Are we sure he just didn't go out of view of the camera? And just snuck past? Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room and some sort of activity. Your Honor, instead of relying on clear and complete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir, as you wish, sir. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Mysterious man. His face clear can't be clearly seen in the video. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Meekins. Eek! Having been shown a questionable video as best, we are not in the best of moods. Now, please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claim the man you brandished a knife on you was Bryce Goodman. Please tell us why you are positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker. Fingerprint. The locker he opened is questionable. Okay. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know. The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So, the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. So, it must be him. No one else unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock, and it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security? Yes. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may have not been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. I'll set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where's the contradiction that indicates the man? Okay. B is pause, okay. Ah. I saw something fall from there. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean? Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you are looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh yeah. Phew. I almost walked right into the defense's trap. I'll place him under arrest, sir. Rats. I need to slow down the tackle these things one piece at a time. I thought that was it. Let's play it again. Okay. Wait. locker was already open. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint if it's a match. The light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Oh my god, this is gonna take so long. Especially if we keep having to come back to this video. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit? Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Order, order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of that crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the lock is automatically locked. Oh, I know, I must have broken down. Of course I'm not an expert on this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor, say? There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere to this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Okay. Now it's the rubber glove, isn't it? Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. I don't know if it's worse with or without the music. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? See, this was my thought process. So I went straight to the glove instead of thinking about the sensor light. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times, it always gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door, but the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. You would need, it would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator at the crime scene. There just might have been something that fits the description. But, sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I've finally figured this out. Very well. Well, the defense, please present the relevant evidence. What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? It was... Oh, whoops. It was the rubber glove, because rubber is an insulator. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove, and it's thin enough to fit between the door. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order, order, order! So, are we to believe then that the victim whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense was merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video is indeed Bryce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, you must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used this card. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. I'm just thinking Goodman lost something. Like he was about to film that report. I wonder if he lost his card, since a lot of the detectives seem to do that. Just before the crime, Yes? Without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so many few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There are only a few cases up for transferal here, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let's move on to the cross-examination. Mr. Mantu. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, you must use their ID card. When the ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. I'm gonna test my theory out here. Oh, wait a moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the scene of the crime. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order, order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order, order, order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. But bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive to a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't gonna end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place, as the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I also walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Pretty much only cleared Meekin's name. Oh, and the rag's there now. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh? Whom do you have in mind? Someone we know... Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would like to testify, what is his or her name? Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel like we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Subpoenaed. Don't know. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma? You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey, 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 hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought me what I asked? Oh, oh ho, oh ho ho, oh ho ho, oh ho ho ho. You mean this, right? My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me some SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident. But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need me, so I had them brought here. Here, you might as well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? Files for the Joe Dark killing solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name is in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana? This SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as. The Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark. No, no, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait, she ran away. Yeah. Know what? You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal. I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. Let's do a quick save, and we'll finish up this trial. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for the name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind, I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado soul is as boundless as the desert sand. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a side street saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man. So, if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Finger and activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses. Now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Okay. Do you have witness? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongol sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" I'm just an innocent traveling man. Oh, wait a minute. You weren't. Because we have your fingerprints. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene, or to be exact, a handprint. Listen, real good partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, making my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see... Your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this world with a head on its shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the bloodstained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained fingerprint. Hmm. Wait. Oh, the murder touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or did you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I have nothing to do with it. We do know the murderer was wearing gloves. Okay. I want to press the... It's only natural my fingerprints would be there too. Because doing rounds does not mean touching everything. That's because, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that all that's in there now is heaps of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without even knowing it. Okay. Where's the gloves? How did he know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was bloodstain on the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. Hmm. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture. This seal of blood in the desert. It's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue the testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Hmm. Maybe it was you. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots. Places you can't see. The camera panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. That's true. He could have just crawled under the camera. Maybe that's how the person disappeared. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Okay. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright. You might wind up being the one making the mistake. Okay? The video again? Well, I know what it is, but I don't like this video. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake, I'm afraid. You'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, I'll rewind the video a bit. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There is only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would seem that... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So, what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault it happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just plain dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. You say I opened the locker? Now prove it. Fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what did you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the day of the crime. At the time of the crime. Oh, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? He was the killer. Or wait, no, not the killer, the victim. Whoops. There we go. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd known for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did the Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We have a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it? You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can't see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't make the desert heat. Ack! Can't this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Hmm. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was starting out. When you've run into a wall there with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. What do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. according to the defendant's argument. Officer Jake Marshall dressed as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that the white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all of our questions. I don't have any evidence, so the video is my only shot. Very well, let's take another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the Has to be the coat, right? Something happened to the coat? Oh, wait, Jay. The blood on the coat. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat? You can't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now. Now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There weren't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. So no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone has to say, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that's really why Goodman started filing out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor of the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't be able to open the lock yourself. But he managed because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during the short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID? I'll have to think a little more about this raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him over and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I don't think it would make a difference, though. The security cape has erased everything. 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened the locker and stashed it in there. However, what was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So, what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What, are you blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, I ask you one thing. Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are even a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence is stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should press him with what I think his real reason is. I have a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. Wait. Has to be the SL9, right? Let's see now. Let's present the files. Where's the files? Oh, there it is. Had to be given those for some reason. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file right here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Oh, the other guy with the cowboy hat. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders of Dam and Gant, the then deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Joe Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one would have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case would be reopened. Not satisfied with his resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the day of the police department. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze me. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this faked murder was going on at the police department. Chance. It's got to be more than that. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached until yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet to remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office, and only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony is one Miss Angel Star is completely uncontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Arg. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached a conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tapes really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Hold it! Emma! Your Honor, wait! Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joke Dark killings, now that she mentions it. The name of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other fingerprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. But no fingerprints are found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked at it again. So, did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered over here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? This handprint left at the scene of the crime clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? The blue badger, because it was being stored there. What about the piece of plywood? The blue badger, the mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So, to watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. You can't see the locker. Well, what? Gasp! That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint on this spot on the locker. What? So that means, what exactly does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't... Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that means this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such a far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilt not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. The other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on the tape. It had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security camera has been proven to be a fake. However, it does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand to show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize the defense claims, that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, the other incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that we can show. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence that shows when the first crime took place? ID card record? If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh! The ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger into the evidence room at 4:50 p.m., so it could either be Miles or this mystery person of just all these sevens. Let's see here. 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It does not take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminoid test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. Or he entered the day before, maybe? He went in with 7777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID card belongs to someone with a high rank, a captain or higher. Someone who is so-called executive officer. Executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. That was such a big brain fart on my part. But that's ridiculous, just how? I've not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all like, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 77777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat the question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized that we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During the trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in the crime... Wait, can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't... I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order to get him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry to leave on the cliffhanger, but that's all the time I have for today. So, I shall save, and then I'll go find somebody to raid for you guys. Let's see now. Let's go with this person.
Oh, present, that's why. I'm being stupid.
Alright,
This is
time
my
to
badge.
start the raid.
What? Our badge is supposed to be all shiny, impressive. You a cop or something?
I'll see you
You're a
guys
cop.
tomorrow for
Lawyer.
the
What?
end of this
Y'all gonna try
episode,
and
by
pull
the
out
way.
them lawsuits I'm over that film now? Cause I have you know I'm fighting. I'll rush